took some water. Give us back the water. Cyrus said, I took nothing. I didn't take anything. I didn't take anything. And they continued to verbally attack him, accusing him of stealing water. Interestingly enough, you look at that intricate camera system. Cyrus is telling the truth. He took nothing from that store that day. As he tried to walk out of the store, they continued to verbally harass him to the point where he took his backpack and calmly walked out of the store. And as he walks toward that door, the co-owner, Alice Chow, says something in Cantonese that makes her son run around the counter towards Cyrus. And then Chai Ki Rick Chow, the defendant in this case, comes from out of an office in the convenience store, armed with a .45 caliber Glock pistol, and follows Cyrus out of that store. Cyrus walks out of the store, takes a right, slowly, and hears them yelling, running after him, turns to see, and again, the camera system shows these things, and he takes off running. Cyrus tries to run through the parking lot to the point to where he runs out of his Air Force One Nike shoe. Runs out of his shoe. Doesn't turn around to pick it up because you have an adult male running behind you with a .45 caliber Glock pistol who has falsely accused you of stealing. So he runs. He drops 2 cell phones out of his pocket. We know this to be true because there are witnesses who we expect you'll hear from who'll talk about how they had to throw on brakes to keep from hitting them as they ran across traffic. We know this to be true because of that intricate camera system that he installed. He drops 2 cell phones. One belonged to him, one to his mother. Doesn't turn around to pick up one of those cell phones. Continues to run, falls down, gets back up running, falls again, busts his shin, drops the backpack, keeps running. In total, Chai Ki Rick Chow and his son chased Cyrus Carmack Belton over 130 yards off of their property onto a public road in Columbia, South Carolina. And eventually, after Cyrus fell a couple of times, Chai Ki Rick Chow fired the fatal shot, which ended his life.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who teach 100% truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Ra'aya from GMS Detroit, back with another one. And as we see in this video, there's some bullshit, these heathen nations always, make themselves guilty. And, when I was watching this video, I just thought about it like, man, how many times, right, are these heathen nations going to delete Jake before Jake realizes to and now Jake it was really nothing that he could do because this was the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, to be honest, because the Lord deletes and makes alive, right? So it would have been nothing he could necessarily do because the Lord ordained for this to happen. But there was things that could have been done, though, so this wouldn't happen if this Jake would have kept the law, right? So let's go into some of these scriptures. This is Romans 12:18. And it says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. And I'm pulling this scripture because Jake, they didn't show any of the audio and I'm pretty sure they might show it a little bit further into the video. But um, you could tell Jake typically has a fuck you attitude, right? And because of us dealing with so much injustice here in Babylon the Great, we tend not to give a fuck about what these oppressive heathen nations that are amongst us, right? So we'll be like, we automatically think that they think that we're stealing something anyway, right? You know, so when they had in the video, as the lawyer was saying, when they confronted him about it, he told them like, "No, I didn't steal anything," and he took his book bag and he walked out the store. And all Jake had to do really was just simply show them that he did not steal anything, right? Now, a lot of us is going to say, well, he didn't have to show him anything because if he didn't take nothing, he didn't take nothing. But Jake, we are in captivity. We are in captivity. The thing is that the average Jake out here, for some reason, forgets that they are still in a land of their slavery. So you're going to go through these things on a constant basis. We have seen this multiple times. Jake could be walking in a neighborhood that don't look like the type of neighborhood he should be walking through, and he'll get deleted. The Trayvon Martin situation, right? Um, there's plenty of scenarios where Jake could have done things differently if he knew or they knew that they were in captivity. But because they have a wool over their eyes and they've just, made this place their resting place because this is not their rest, right? But because of this, they have gotten comfortable and they think that they can just, like, for some reason, they don't think that their life is not in the balance with every, decision that they make and stuff while going through this world. These people, these heathen nations hate us. So you got to be wise when you in this place. If these people think that you're stealing, show them that you're not stealing. And do it. And this is why I pulled the scriptures, Romans 12 and 18. It says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. And the reason why is because if not, this type of shit can happen to you. In order to have peace with somebody, you're willing to go the extra or a little bit more of the extra measure to ensure that the peace stays together, that you actually have peace. So what you would do is you go into the store, they think you're stealing, just simply show them your bag, give them your bag, empty your pockets, show them that you're not that you're not doing that. Because now you can feel like, man, I ain't gonna do that and all that. No, fuck that. You see what just happened to this Jake, because he more than likely had that same spirit where he like, man, fuck all that and all that. Although this is some racist, this is some bullshit, right? It is. But you're in captivity. And we're in this captivity due to the bullshit that we pulled on the Heavenly Father. So therefore, that's why bullshit is coming to us, right? So this is Matthew 5 and 25, right? Let me go. So like, I don't know how we got. So matter of fact, let me go straight to it. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 25, and it says, agree with thine adversary quickly. Now, we typically use this for Esau, Edom, but this doesn't necessarily mean that it's not for these other nations, these heathen nations at that, right? Because
adversary,
the similar or the synonyms that come with adversary is opponent, rival, enemy, right? Who are our enemies? The Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, you know what I mean? The Ishmaelites, the Elamites, um, the Amalekites, all of these different heathen nations that's out there, right? They are our enemy. They are our foe. They are our nemesis. They are our antagonists, right? They're the bad guys that's in the movie. When you're watching a movie, you're looking at the good guy. The good guy goes through some crazy, struggles and stuff throughout the movie to build that character for him. And at the end, he becomes that guy, and he always has an antagonist that's there, that's pushing him. Now, if he allows that antagonist to get to him, he'll die before the movie even gets to the point where it needs to get. Now, this is what's happening with Jake. Typically, Jake can't even seem to humble themselves now, because you got to think about it. If you come into a store, right, and I have been in this scenario more than once, right? Where somebody thought that I was taking something. I just took my the stuff out of my pockets. Hey, look, you can come check me if you want, because that's how non-confrontational I'm trying to be with these people. Because I know that they got death on their mind when it comes to me, and it's a part of fearing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, but these, 2/3 of Jake do not fear him, and they end up in these scenarios. And then you have a lawyer, after your death, and you then went to the spiritual realm. Now, now you have a lawyer here, and he's speaking on behalf of your death and all this, and your family in this courtroom and all that. It's like it doesn't even have to get there. Just keep what these scriptures say. Agree with thine adversary. This is Matthew 5:5. I mean, in 25. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Now, this part doesn't necessarily apply because he's deleted, but this typically happens to Jake also, that they'll, instead of this actually happening where they went out there on their own and they went and deleted Jake, you know, they'll typically lock these doors because they got like a locking mechanism in these doors, and they'll lock Jake in there, and then the police will come and all that, and then Jake could go through a whole bunch of traumatic situations when they could have easily just, did this. They could have easily just agreed with them, and and just did as what they needed, because you got to understand we're in captivity, but nonetheless, right? It's not like these heathen are not going to get judged for this unjust thing that they did here, right? Because he didn't take anything, right? He didn't take anything, so these heathen are going to pay for this. It ain't like they ain't gonna pay for this, right? And how they're going to pay for this, right? Is they're going to be they're going to be our slaves, essentially. They're going to be in hard labor with us, right? And we're going to beat the shit out of their ass like how they've been doing us, and how they've been, deleting us. We're going to have to delete some of them. You know what I mean? And the matter of fact, let me read this, Isaiah 14:1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, right? And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. But it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, right? So the heathen nations that's round about, we're going to take these people and we're going to make them servants and handmaids. We're going to make them slaves, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Right now, we typically use this for Esau, Edom, right, the so-called white man, due to what he has done. But this also applies to the other nations as well, because it ain't like they're exempt from being taken and being captives for us. because that's what's gonna happen to them, right? And we have been up under, because Jake is scattered to the four corners. We have been up under all of these nations in captivity, not just Esau, but we've been up under all of them. There's Jake in every country, right? So, but yeah, y'all go and check out this video. It's on World Star. South Carolina store owner on trial for chasing and fatally shooting 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton over 4 bottles of water he didn't even steal, right? And Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is gonna come and that's why he's gonna come and take down these nations for the things that they have done to us, right? And to set up his kingdom, right? So hopefully you all been edified. And with that, I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Shalom, y'all. On to the next one.